What do these images have in common? While horses can symbolize biblical prophecies, the tragedies they represent occur in real life. But what is the meaning of the 4 knights in the book of Revelation? Each one has a different color, and the colors represent events that impact on the planet. According to the prophecy of the book of Revelation, the white horse is the deceiver who manipulates the nations with promises of false peace. He represents the Antichrist. The red horse removes peace from the earth through wars. The black horse brings hunger, misery, pestilence, and the pale horse, the death of 1/4 of humanity. The first point that we need to consider regarding these 4 horses is that the apocalypse is written in a symbolic language. It is as if the religious book tells a story that is still to happen. According to the prophecy of Revelation, an image of horseman symbolizes the speed with which evil will hit humanity. They represent symbolic time, from the time of the prophets until the end of time, until the end of the world. According to the book of John, the 3rd horseman is riding on a black horse and has a scale in his hands. This object symbolizes the lack of food. According to the United Nations, hunger is increasing after having been in a decline for a decade. In 2016, 815 million people suffered from hunger, 11% of the global population. In 2015, the figure was 38 million, more than the previous year. But the apocalyptic prophecy of the New Testament talks about this. It talks a lot about hunger. For example, in Matthew 24, Jesus describes wars and famine. And these are just some of the signs of the end times which humanity will experience. There is a time where scientists and theologians can work together concerning the apocalypse. If we don't take care of nature that we were gifted in this world, we will destroy the earth and all kinds of life that there is on it. Today, environmental pollution has reached such a critical level that it is altering the climate, killing animals, and leaving nature close to collapse. The oceans are a terrifying picture of pollution that could decimate marine life. The oceans are not the only natural resources affected by pollution in the environment. If man keeps polluting it, a day will come when nature as a whole does not exist. It will react. It's difficult to imagine that so much land, which is so fertile and productive, could suddenly disappear. This means it will be impossible to produce enough food for everyone. According to the United Nations, in countries where there is armed conflict, food is increasingly scarce. Terrorist groups contribute to this. They condemn and kill the population. The violence prevents food from coming in to or out of the occupied cities. This also hinders trade and affects the local economy. This is also mentioned in the book of Revelation, represented by the horseman riding. And the 4th and last horse is the pale one, and the one riding this horse has a sword. He has the appearance of death, annihilation, and destruction. The Knights of Prophecy will be screened on TV. In the apocalypse soap, catastrophes, famine, and annihilation are part of the story. The character of the white horse will be revealed by unifying people through false peace and by allowing humanity to believe in him as the solution to the global crisis. But this false security will not last long, as he is the Antichrist, played by Sergio Maroni. Let us stop thinking about what divides us, and let us fight for what unites us and defend the human race. The film will also show a world devastated by famine and misery and the beginning of the struggle between good and evil. But it would be an exaggeration to recreate biblical prophecies with so much destruction. Those who see Mr. Tanaki, who is 93 years old, can't imagine that he lived in 1946. He was a soldier in the Japanese police who was working in Hiroshima when the first atomic bomb ever used hit the city. I was walking down the street, and suddenly there was an explosion. I was thrown 10 meters away. I got up and saw all the houses had been destroyed. An old lady shouted, "Soldier, please come here!" There were also mothers and children, and all the houses were damaged. That's how it happened, and for 2 days I thought it was the end of the world. Everyone was hurt. Soldiers were screaming. The skin was peeling off their bodies. More than 73 years later, I still haven't forgotten how I felt. And the smell of dead people. I never forget the smell of dead people. I never forget. Memories of a hostile world, intolerance, oppression, pain and hunger, fiction or reality. Many believe that we are closer to these prophecies than far from them. We seek peace, but humanity, for several reasons, is walking towards war rather than to peace, towards disasters, to hunger, rather than to a peaceful and ideal world. I think the world is in a time when it is very divided. At the moment, certain values are being lost. We are creating a new way of being. We are living through a transformation. The world is transforming to a place where we don't want to be going.